to the streaming page to check his mic, his camera, and that it's attached. And after that, and the version of the browser. Otherwise, it will not work, and it will give an unclear error message.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, sure. I got it.
So, but except that, it will be perfect, inshallah. I'm so excited about this project.
Oh, perfect. Great. So let us know if we can help you further for that. So, Marco, we are going to start from scratch. So that I just planned something for that in advance in order to make it more helpful, so that you will see how to do this kind of stuff maybe in the future.
Yeah, really thank you for this.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's really a great thing.
Perfect. So okay, let's start then. I'm going to share my screen with you, and also I'm recording this session, and we will probably share it on the YouTube or somewhere, so that you can watch later. So at first, the issue is this one. Issues 2849, as far as I remember. No, not this one. Let's check that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so we are going to fix this issue. So that the issue is like this. In our REST service, you can add endpoint as an RTMP, but it does not return the endpoint service ID for that RTMP endpoint. So you need to ask one more time to the server side to get the information from the server what the endpoint service ID or the RTMP endpoint ID to remove it or to do some stuff. Yeah, that's the case.
Yes, and because if you send if you set the endpoint ID by doing a post request, it does not use that endpoint ID, but it generates a new one that is random, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, perfect. So great. So that I'm going to start from scratch, and here is the Antimedia server, and I'm going to fork. So I'm going to behave like a contributor that is not in the Antimedia. Okay. So I'm just going to fork the repository to my local account.
Okay.
So it's right now forking, and yes, so there is a repository on my account, and I'm going to clone it. So let's remove Antimedia server in here and git clone dept1. So I'm using the dept1 because I don't want to clone the whole history because it is huge. So if you are going to, yeah, you can prefer to download the whole repository for the whole history, but this case it is not required. And I think if you want to remove, you can remove the dept1 information for parameter in here, and it will get the whole history, the whole repository from the GitHub. Okay.
Yes.
So okay, and I assume that in our local computer we have the Java, we have Maven, and we have Eclipse. So this is my Eclipse, and I'm going to create a new workspace for this development. So let's assume take a look at here. So I'm going to switch to this workspace. So this workspace is a new workspace, so that there is no project in that workspace. And we are using the Eclipse Java EE. Eclipse download Java EE. So yeah, this one. We are using this one because it includes the Git, includes Maven plugins or some other plugins as well. So, okay, right now when you open the Eclipse at first, it opens like this, okay? Yeah, perfect. So it's already downloaded here. So there is no project in the Project Explorer. So I'm going to import a project. So the project is a Maven project, and I'm going to choosing the existing Maven projects. So click next, and then I'm going to browse to the location where the Antmedia server, where I cloned Antmedia server. So it is under the downloads section, Antmedia server, and then I click open. So it finds the project, and this is the POM XML, and I'm just clicking finish. So right now, as you see, the Antmedia server is here. So I think someone has joined. Okay.
It was Mondonero from this Reconnected.
Okay, perfect. So let's make it package representation hierarchical. So this is the one that I generally use. So let's take a look. So right now I opened the Antmedia server project in Eclipse, and it is right now indexing some stuff. So let's get back to the issue then. Is everything okay right now? Is there any question you want to ask?
For me now, it is perfect. I'll be silent in order to. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay for me.
Okay, perfect. So we are proceeding then. So the issue is here, and when I take a look at when we are talking with you, I see that we need to change the parameter in here. So endpoint v3. So this is the actually the point when you are adding a RTMP endpoint to the Antmedia server. This method is called. Okay, so let's take a look at in this way. Antmedia REST RTMP endpoints. Okay. So you see that this is the v2 broadcast /ID. It's a parameter and RTMP endpoint. And when we take a look at here, yeah, this is the path, and it points to that REST method. And okay, so that I'm going to change some stuff in this class. So this is the broadcast REST service.java. Let's find it from here. So it is IO Antmedia REST. So our all REST methods is under the REST folder or package. So that this is the broadcast REST service.java. This is the file that we take a look at on the web page, GitHub. So I'm going to go to the endpoint version 3 from here. So because I know these places and probably I take role for implementing these classes, I generally know how it works. So let's take a look at in here, super at endpoint, and as you see, there is a random number is generated in here for the endpoint service ID. Yeah, so we are going to return this as a data in the result object. So the result object has already there's a parameter with the data ID like this. So we are just going to add this parameter to here. So as you see, the data ID is returned from here, and if there's a message in here, it will be also assigned to the local field.
Okay.
So, okay, and then it returns result from here, and so it also executes the process RTMP endpoint. So just let check this one. Okay, so it uses the result in here, and it sets the success field. It is true or false, so it does not change the parameter in the data ID or the message, so that calling this method does not affect us. So let's get back to here again, result and then result. So it is just a simple stuff. So in order to confirm that it is working properly, we have some unit tests in the project. So we have plenty of tests for unit, for integration or some other stuff. And we are going to just confirm that it is working as a, we are just confirmed that it is working by making unit tests, okay? So our unit test for the broadcast REST service is available in here, broadcast REST service v2 unit test. So I also take a look at in here, and I know that we have a test method that we test the endpoints of the broadcast REST service object. So, okay, just let me confirm. Okay. So guys, are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Great. So as you see, this is the place where we call the at endpoint version 3. Okay, here, and the F3 is the shortcut to go to the implementation for this method. So I click F3 and I go to this place, and we just add this parameter in here. So if we don't add, so I'm going to make some tests again, and I'm going to show you something. So let's get back to here, and I'm going to just check result get data ID is not null. So this is the request from our end. So when I first run this method JUnit, it will fail. Okay, it's running. Okay, it is failed, and as you see, it is failed. And let's take a look at, yeah, it is failed in here. So let's add the endpoint from here again. And run the tests again. Okay, right now it passes, it's green.
Yeah.
So in order to make a little more checks that that it is working properly. So I mean, we just check that it is not null. I think we can also check its value as well. So just assign this data ID to a local variable, endpoint service ID in here. And as you see, from here, it gets broadcasts from the REST service. It checks the endpoint list and get the endpoint, the first element in the endpoint, and there's only just the one endpoint for this instance, for this object, because we are just adding this one here. So I'm going to check the endpoint service ID in here as well. Endpoint to get endpoint service ID. So yeah, this one. In here, I'm going to just check that the return value from the at endpoint version 3, the RTMP endpoint location, is same when we request the endpoint list from the in another method. So just let's check run this method again. Okay, so it seems it is consistent. Okay, so because this is just a simple live coding, it seems that it's working properly. And right now I can push this development to my local repository in GitHub. And just let me open Git Staging. The good thing for using Java Enterprise Edition, the Git, Maven, or some plugins are already available, so that you don't need to install Git, or you don't need to install most of the plugins.
Yes, but we can also do this by using Git tools.
Yeah. So Git tools is already available in here. So
sorry, Git is on?
Git tools is available in the Eclipse.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
So and I'm just taking a look at the changes from here. So yes, we just change here. I'm adding to stage, and I'm also checking the changes in the unit test. So yeah, we just add a couple of lines, and I'm going to just adding this, and I'm going to write the commit message, fix permit to 28446. So it's also to point out the issue here. So it's asking username and passwords. So right now it is pushed to the master branch in here. So let's take a look at here. So let me take a look at the question. Is it gonna also connect to the REST API if I use external server in the same network of AntMedia? So the question is it also gonna REST API? This another server in the same network or in another network can connect to the REST API. Yeah, it's doable.
Yeah, you need to set it in the user interface.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's great. So thank you, Marco, for that. And just let me show you how to do that. So just let me check if it is. So let's make a push merge pull request to the original repository, and then we are going to back to this configuration. So and
so
this
just one question. I'm sorry.
Sure.
So for now, we are having endpoint service ID in as data in our response, right? But endpoint service ID is now is custom. It's not custom. I'm sorry. It's random. It's a random string.
Yeah.
So if I set an endpoint service ID in the post request body, sorry, that endpoint ID, will be random and not the one that I used in the body request. In the request body, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So in as you see in here.
Yeah. I see that it's custom plus.
Yeah. It always creates a random stream endpoint ID.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Maybe we can also support endpoint service ID if you already set an endpoint service ID from here.
Yeah, because that was the that was the real issue also, for me because we the use scenario is that we set an endpoint service ID, a known endpoint service ID, like I don't know, server 2, I don't know, because in this way we can delete endpoint, an RTMP endpoint, by just using a delete request and specifying the known endpoint ID.
Yeah.
So if we request via get, we can see that we have 5 endpoints, but one is server 1, server 2, server 3, and so on.
Yeah. Okay.
So we know what is what.
Okay. So I'm going to adding this feature for you. Okay. So if the endpoint service ID is null or if it is empty, it will generate a new endpoint service ID, a new random service ID. But if it is not null, so that it will use the one that you send it. Okay.
Really cool. Really cool.
So the critical thing in here is I'm not sure if there is a same endpoint service ID in the server sides, so that if you are going to add if you're going to specify the endpoint service ID on your site, then you're responsible for making these IDs unique on your site.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
It needs to be unique, obviously. Yes.
Yeah. So that maybe we need to check if there is any other endpoint service, if there's any other RTMP endpoint with the same service ID in here.
Yeah, maybe in that point you just could have an error response.
Yes. So just let me take a look at here. So endpoint array list. It's adding here, and so this is the endpoint list. So maybe we need we need to add some checks in here. So I can end it later because it may take some more time. And
of course, but if it is a problem, that it's okay.
So actually, it is not a problem. Just to make sure that it is working well. I mean, as you know, in some cases, maybe developers cannot use the same stream ID, same endpoint ID for setting the different RTMP URLs. So for this case, server should return some kind of error or some kind of stuff. But
it would be so useful if you set the custom part at the starting ID and then random string, because we just need a little bit of text in that response that we can identify. So if I set name B, it is okay also to have name B and followed by a random string.
Okay. So right now it is your responsibility to make the endpoint service IDs unique on your side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the deal. And if you don't specify that, it will generate a custom one from here. So let's also push the latest improvements in here. So if it is null or if it is empty, we will generate a new one. Maybe I can add some more tests later. So use the incoming endpoint service ID. So I'm going to push it as well. So actually, because I'm using a different workspace and I'm using a different repository, it gives this error. So I know how to fix that so that it will don't ask me the same login every time. It's just a thing. Yeah, okay, it's pushed. And this is my repository. This is media at AntMedia server, and I'm 2 commits ahead of AntMedia master. So I'm going to make a pull request. So I'm AntMedia server master, and I'm going to making the pull request from my local master. So I just add these lines, remove these lines, add these lines from here, add this one, and I also check these assertions for checking that it returns the endpoint service ID. So I'm just making a create pull request and adding this one. Yep. Oh, okay. Set endpoint service ID via REST method. Okay, right now this pull request is available in here. So it is in here, and I am the one who is going to review this one as well. So that probably later today I'm going to merge it to the master branch, and when it is merged, you can get the latest version from Sonatype. So Marco, are you using the Enterprise Edition or the Community Edition?
I'm using for now the Community.
Okay, perfect. So when it is merged with the master, so AntMedia server will be deployed to here automatically. and you can get the latest one from here. For instance, the latest one is here right now.
Okay.
And you will see a new one from this list, and then you can download it.
Okay, that's
okay. So this is the yep. I think it also should show some others. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. So it should expand to browse. Oh, okay, so this is the latest one. Yeah. So you can download the latest one from here, and when you just click here, so it will be downloaded.
the zip file, okay?
Yeah. So okay, so and do you have any question for that?
First question is, what is your YouTube channel? Because I will try to do this a few times.
Okay.
Myself. So if you have a channel, just tell me the name.
The name channel is Ant Media Server.
Okay.
I can also give the exact URL in the issue list, in the issue that we are talking about.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. So sorry, this latest
snapshot
version that you made is with the change with endpoint service ID, not custom.
Sorry,
sorry, not custom. I'm sorry, not random.
Yes,
it's just the latest. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you can get the latest snapshot, and then you will you will use your codes. So your first question is, as you know, you just need to set the endpoint service ID. It will support that, and it will also return the endpoint service ID in the returned message. Even if you use run, even if you don't specify that, it will return the generated one in the REST response. Okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
I think it's my pleasure, our pleasure.
Thank you. So, and the last question from Ashraf. So let me open. So for calling REST API, we have two security filters for that. Because Ant Media Server REST API shouldn't be something accessible publicly, because it creates live applications, it creates live streams, settings, etc. So
we also had a problem, not me, but someone that I know, that not limited the RTMP, the accepted unified streams was flagged, and someone used it for streaming a Champions League football match.
Okay. Yeah. So it's related to security. So in our latest discussion in the community, some guys are asking for moving the security related stuff to the community edition as well. So we are thinking some options. I mean, we are just thinking to move some security related stuff from community to from enterprise to community edition. It is not a clear decision yet, but we are just thinking for that.
For now, you can just put an Nginx or something like that at the top of media or delivery side, and you can set your.
Yeah, sure. So for accessing the REST API, Ashraf, are you here? Yes.
Yes, I'm talking with you.
Yeah, perfect. You can.
Here's one point.
Okay.
I'm not direct connect to server. I'm connecting through load balancer because I'm using cluster solution.
Okay. For the load balancer stuff, yeah.
For making it more hard, I'm not just using cluster solution. I'm using private subnet and public subnet. Public subnet for load balancer and private subnet for the server itself. Only the ports of UDP and the needed port of TCP are open.
Okay.
Other ports are closed.
Okay, I got it. So for this scenario, so just let me tell the public and private scenario cases. If you have an application server on your site, you can add its IP address, public or private, here, so that Antimedia server, let's say this IP address, it will return the request. It will return the incoming request. It will respond to the incoming request coming from these IP addresses in here. And you can also specify the CIDR notation from here. So if you have some specific network address, so that you can enter in here, and Antimedia server supports response the HTTP request coming from these IP addresses. And another solution is using the JWT filter for that. This is useful for this thing. So I mean, if you are using some kind of sorry.
Yes.
So I'm just proceeding. Okay.
I didn't say anything.
Okay, sorry. So JW filter for RESTful API is useful when you are using some kind of serverless infrastructure or applications. In your application may be running in serverless environment.
On Lambda or serverless.
Yes. Yeah, serverless. So that you don't know the IP address. You can just use the JWT filter for that. You can create a secret key here. So it will create different secret keys for each time, or you can specify a secret key here, and then it will, and you can use this JWT filter for accessing the RESTful API. And we have the documentation for giving more information about how to access to the RESTful, how to use the RESTful API through JWT filter.
Okay, can I add more part for this? Sure. I'm afraid that for the client side, we use HTML and JavaScript. So what if I put this security key in JavaScript or HTML, and the customer simply get the source of the page, take it, try to connect it?
Actually, it is not a good, from
exactly
my point of view, it is not a very good exercise for that, because this secret key is, if you distribute the secret key for the client side, one guy just get it and can consume your REST API. So generally, our architecture is Antimedia server is running in the backend side. This is actually behind the application server most of the time, because it as you know, Antimedia server is a streaming engine. So it should be used with some other services, some front-end application servers or something like that. So what I recommend is that you can get a request from your users, end users, in your application server, in your application, and then you make some requests to the Antimedia server running in your backend.
Okay, so the security key is not needed for the stream itself. It needed only to generate a new channel, to grant access, something like that?
Yes, secret key is not required for streaming. Yeah, so I mean, for this stuff, REST API, you don't need to. I mean, it is not necessary for streaming or for other stuff, as you mentioned. If you just enable some one-time tokens or some kind of JWT filter for stream security, you need some kind of tokens for publishing and playing streams through Antimedia server.
I got it. I saw that in the last meeting.
Yeah.
You use it for 5 seconds and 10 seconds. It was perfect. I like it.
Yeah.
I like this method.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, okay. So, guys, do you have any other question?
For me, it's really clear. And so for now, no.
Yeah, perfect.
And maybe we can close. We can test. I can test the REST API with endpointServiceID, and maybe I will close the issue.
Sure, sure, absolutely. So we will be in touch through the issue. So I'm also checking the notifications on the GitHub on some daily basis or once in 2 or 3 days, so that we will just handle that. Okay.
Can I ask a general question about the cPanel?
Sure.
About HLS streaming and the advanced setting, which is using the VOD streaming folder and the webhook URL. For HLS streaming, what exactly mean by segment list size and segment duration? Is it means how many customer you want to add to this list, or how many broadcaster you want to add? And duration, is it with minute, with second, with hours?
Yeah, okay, perfect, great question. So let me share my screen again and let me explain to you. Okay. So as you see, right now, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. So as you see, the segment list size is 5 and segment duration is 2 seconds actually. So, and let me show you what it means with a test. So I'm going to send a stream to the Antimedia server with FFmpeg through RTMP. Yep. So this settings is also effective if you are using webrtc. Okay, so when I send a stream to the Antimedia server through HLS, so it creates HLS stream. And just take a look at the content of this file, okay? So it will have one, two, three, four, five files. It means that it will hold 5 files. Okay, segment list size is the list number of items in M3U8 file for streaming. So if I set it 10 in here, there will be 10 files listed in here. So let's test it again. So I'm stopping and starting again. Yeah, as you see, it starts from 0, and right now it is 7, and it will add, starts from 0 and to 9, and then it will continue. Yeah, as you see, it is a sliding window. At first, it starts from 0 and go to the 10, and then it keeps 10 files here at the same time. And you see that the files is available here, and it will delete the previous files. So as you see, you don't see a file with stream 0p000, 0p001. It will be deleted. So, and when we check that, as you see, these files are also deleted. It will let you to not it will protect the server for filling the disk.
So it's creating files for frames or for streaming or for delay or for...
Yeah. For HLS streaming, so last thing from that, the segment duration 2 means that each file from here has 2 seconds duration. Okay, so if you are going to make it 5, then each file has 5 seconds duration. So this is the point. And for HLS streaming, the latency is at least 10 seconds. So in this scenario, by the nature of the HLS, its latency is not low like webrtc. But when you play with webrtc, as you know, the latency is about half a second or less.
So this is for security of the server. So it created by peer user that open the connection or peer broadcaster.
So it creates the TS files per broadcast. It is not specific to the viewers. It is specific to the broadcast. So hundreds, thousands of people can watch the this M3U8 file HLS stream.
Okay, so for each broadcaster, we create the record number of the list size, which is 10 file, 5 file, according to what we need. And each file of them have 2 seconds of video that record for this guy. So that's what we're talking about, or I misunderstand it?
Yeah, you are right. For each broadcast, for each publisher, whatever you say, it will create files in the backend side for watching through HLS, and each file has this duration in seconds, and the M3U8 file, which is the critical file for HLS streaming, it will hold this number of segments or the files in it.
So what is the default number or perfect number for the normal streaming, like what we are in now?
Okay, so the default number is 5.2. A segment is 5 and segment duration is 2. This is the this is probably the best value for having the low, for decreasing the latency in HLS. So and the latency in HLS in this scenario as well, it is about 10 seconds. For specific to some use cases, you can increase segment duration to 20 or 60. It changes according to your use case. I mean, if you want to make less, if you want to make players do less HTTP requests for the server side, you can increase the segment duration here so that it will hold 60 seconds of video in a single file. And then the clients make less requests for accessing to the backend side. And you can also increase this number if you want to have to play the stream for the last, for instance, for this case, it will hold at least 1,200 seconds in the M3U8 file. So you can revert back and you can let the users see for the last 1000 seconds through HLS.
Perfect. And if I didn't mark the create HLS streaming, it means that the user will only watch the live one, which is currently gone.
Okay,
if
so
I unmark the checkbox.
Yeah. So if you unmark the checkbox, HLS stream will not create it. So we can check again here. Yeah. So let me remove this one. It will be deleted automatically. So right now I'm pushing stream to the server side. And as you see, there is no HLS file. There is no M3U8 file, and there is no TS file. But I can watch it through webrtc.
Trafik sensörlerine.
Yeah, this file. I mean,
Etmeye başladık çünkü
this is just a test file that we use in our tests for automation, for CI, for CD, etc.
Perfect.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for the session. It's a pleasure for me to have a call with you and to just discuss some issues and to discuss some features. It's a great pleasure for me. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My
I will
pleasure.
update the issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Oh, sorry. Just
Okay.
I can remember your YouTube. The YouTube channel is Unmedia. In Unmedia, the YouTube channel.
And media server. I'm just going to push it to. I'm just going to push it to the issue. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
This one.
Really,
Yeah.
thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.